Start this going. Share screen.
So that way it's charger.
Does mommy chit fast?
Whatever.
All right, guys, everyone can hear me? Yes, everyone can see my screen? Thumbs up, can you see my screen? All right, thank you. All right. So tonight's agenda is just a nice welcome back. We're happy to see you guys. We wish we could see you in person. We hope when we get to our parent-teacher conferences in November that we can do this in person. But this event is virtual, as you are well aware, because you are here. So we want to thank you for coming back. This year has already been fun and exciting. We do have some 8th grade events coming up. Tomorrow we have the 8th grade cap and gown and ring measurements. If your child's not in school tomorrow, doesn't mean they won't get a cap and gown, they won't get their ring measured. So if you can't send your child to school tomorrow because they're not feeling well or other reasons, don't feel compelled to send them tomorrow. We will, Ms. Rawlings, myself, and Mrs. Soley will figure out a way or a time, I should say, to make sure they get their cap and gown measurements and their rings. So don't send them if they don't need to come, if they're not feeling well, especially. And tomorrow we're asking that everyone brings in their $40 cash. You can give it to Mrs. Rawlings or Mrs. Asoli only. Please make sure money only goes to those 2 women in the building. I don't even like having money given to me because I don't want to put it down and lose it and be responsible. So please make sure the money goes to Ms. Rawlings or Mrs. Asoli. All right, and we're asking for the $40 deposit for the company. And then just a brief introduction, if you don't know the members of the leadership team before the teachers take over the night, because it is about you meeting your child's teacher. I am the principal, Mr. Pisacco. This is my 4th year with CCSP and my 14th year overall and my 8th year as a building leader. Mrs. Ramirez is the vice principal. She's currently overseeing the 7th grade back to school night. Mrs. Stratton is no longer the school counselor. She's the dean of students now, replacing Dr. Ford. Unfortunately, Dr. Ford moved away to Georgia. We wish him well and him and his family, but we were very happy to move Mrs. Stratton up in this position. She worked very hard these past 5 years with CCSP, and it was an honor to hire her in this role. She's also going to be filling in until we find a school counselor, because we do not have a school counselor at this time. We do have plenty of applicants, so we should have one soon. But she will be helping 8th graders and 8th grade parents, you guys, with high school applications. Most of the high school applications begin on October 15th. Manchester, PCTI, Rosa Parks, they start opening up their windows in middle October. And we will be sending home information very soon about an 8th grade orientation night, where we go into more detail about the 8th grade dues, a potential trip to Washington, DC, and all the fun stuff we have planned for 8th graders, and most important, high school information and how to make sure your child's successful in his or her applications. Another person on this leadership team is Ms. Keisha. She's been with the organization since the beginning. She's our operations manager and our administrative secretary, Mrs. Davis. All of these women are in different meetings tonight. So you'll just see me tonight and the 8th grade teachers. All right, and Ms. Thurman, you are up first, so please kick us off. And before she does, I just want to let everyone know that tonight is just a chance to meet your child's teacher, get to hear some things about their classroom, important information. If you would like to have individual questions, you can always reach out to them on Class Dojo or schedule a meeting with them to have a one-on-one. But tonight is just to get to meet your child's teacher and hear more about their class.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ms. Thurman. I am 8th grade social studies teacher. Really quickly, if you, like Ms. Busacco said, if at any point you want to schedule a meeting with me separately, my email is here, which is just my first initial and last name at ccsp.org. And then also I have a school website as well, which you can also locate on your child's Google Classroom. And I believe I sent it out in a message overall to the 8th grade parents on Class Dojo. If I didn't send it to you or I missed you, you can just send me a message and I can forward you that information as well. But I do believe I sent the general message when I introduced myself to everyone on Class Dojo. briefly, when the kids come into the class, what they can expect is when they come in, we start attendance, we do a do now, which is geared toward whichever topic we're on. We have a little class discussion, and then we hop right into our lesson or activity for the day. The topics that will be covered throughout the year for social studies are government and policy, World War II, the Cold War era, and the Civil Rights era. Those are some of the topics that they'll be discussing throughout this school year. The grade breakdown for the class, test 35%, quizzes are 25%, homework 5%, classwork 25%, and projects 10%. I also have, if students hand in assignments late, they get 2 points late off a day. And then if it's a project, it's 5 points off a day. However, if there's for any reason it's they're absent and they haven't had a chance to hand it in, and of course, we give leeway for that. Or if you send me any particular message, we'll handle that accordingly. My expectations of your child, it's just for them to try, communicate, as well as you guys communicate with me if there's any issues that I need to be aware of, so that we can, fully help all of our scholars succeed this school year. And also, please, I'm on top of the kids. If you can just be on top of the kids with our masks, we must, continue to put our mask on and keep our mask on. So if you guys can help me, help your kids, just keep reminding them to put their mask on. And that's all I have. So again, if you need to discuss with me anything outside of this meeting, please feel free to send me a message. I'm constantly dojoing parents just to try to keep up with everyone. So please don't hesitate.
And next up is Mr. Solis. Mr. Solis.
Sorry. Hello, Mr. Busako. Can you go to the next slide so they can see what the stuff is for? Thank you. It's Solis here, guys. Good evening. Nice to see everybody again on camera and off camera. It's always a pleasure. 8th grade basically is the same thing every year. It's everybody's favorite subject, sex ed. Our grading policy is 5% homework. Do nows and exit takers is 20%. Summative assessments are 25%, which is quizzes, tests, projects. Our major project would be they're gonna write or create and be very creative on a project on how it would feel like to be the opposite sex for 24 hours. Kids are doing pretty good so far. We have, I believe my grade book says 92 A's right now for 8th grade and 10 B's. No C's, no D's, no F's. So they have matured from last year and they're doing pretty good in my class. So all I ask is the same thing as Ms. Thurman just said. The masks gotta go on, they gotta stay on. And that's it. Any questions, you guys can reach out to me in Dojo, an email, whatever have you. And I'm here. I look forward to finish the year strong. PE will start second marking period, November 3rd. Okay, kids are not allowed to wear their gym uniforms now. The first marking period, they will wear them starting November 3rd. Any questions? Ask me later. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Miss Rawlings. I'm the 8th grade math teacher. I've been teaching 8th grade math at CCSP now for 4 years. So I'm really excited to get this one started. Usually when we talk about, actually just kidding, let me take a step back. Some of the things that we're going to talk about this year in math class include exponents and scientific notation, the real number system, volume, scatter plot, statistics, and we're going to spend a lot of the year focused on equations because that's a really big topic for us this year as they head off into algebra and algebra 2 when they get to high school. The basic rules that I have for class are just to be respectful. So respectful of yourselves, respectful of others, respectful of the classroom. Just make good choices and we're good to go. If you ever need to contact me, then you can contact me through Dojo. That's usually easiest. You can email me, or if you want to schedule an appointment for like a Zoom call, whether it's you or your scholar, you can do that through my website, which is below, and is also located in the kids' Google Classroom. One of the biggest things that I just want to stress is that I know that math was online last year, and it can be really difficult to learn math on the computer, and that a lot of mindsets are a little bit different when it comes to math. But I just want to stress that we all kind of have to put on a brave face for it. If your kids are coming home and they're saying, "Oh, I hate math," and you're saying, "Oh, I hate math too," then they're never gonna begin to view themselves as somebody who can do math, and it's just gonna become a part of their like DNA, I guess, that they just aren't good at it and they will never be good at it. And that's something I kind of want to prevent. So just having a growth mindset at home and saying, well, you don't know it now, but you will, and just pushing them a little bit more to try and think or use the resources that they have, because they can absolutely be successful. One of the biggest things I've noticed really quickly, in class has just been that I'll teach a lesson, and the second I finish teaching that lesson, they're like, well, I don't get it. I don't know how to do it. I'll never understand this. But if I'm teaching it, then it's the first time they're being exposed to it. So of course it's going to take some time. And that's just one of the biggest areas where they kind of get down on themselves a little sooner than later. So really just focusing on mindset, both at home, and any chance you get, looking at math a little bit differently at home, seeing how it impacts your daily life would be really great, so that they can start making those connections and feel a little bit better when they come to the classroom. But I am looking forward to it being a good year this year and them really taking off in terms of the things that they're learning.
Thank you, Mrs. Rawlings. I also want to put out there, I know it's not math, but if you have any questions about 8th grade activities and dues, Ms. Rawlings is our 8th grade activity advisor. So anytime you have a question about 8th grade dues, activities, cap gowns, graduation, please message them to Ms. Rawlings, and then her and Ms. Smith, Keisha Smith, will meet, and they plan to make sure that they get back in a timely manner. So anytime you think of something about 8th grade dues, not a high school, that's a different person. It's Mrs. Stratton for now. But the fun stuff, Mrs. Rawlings is who you go to if you're trying to think about activities and dues for your scholars. Is Mr. Capers on at this time? I don't think he is, because he's going back and forth. He's here? Beautiful.
I am here. I just got on like 2 seconds ago.
That's because you're perfect. So you're on, sir.
Amen. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope all is well. I'm Mr. Capers. I'm your science teacher. I have been with CCSP, I believe my 9th or 10th year now, and this is my 4th year in the role of science teacher. Thank you for entrusting your kids with us. Before I get started, though, I just want to ask that we continue to have our students, implore them to wear their mask throughout the entire day, so that we can help curve what is going on in the world and in our school. It's really important for us to we have that reinforcement to make sure we wear our masks all day, every day. Really appreciate it. For science this year, we're going back to our wonderful platform, Amplify Science. It is a digital platform. The grading policy, as you can see, our first unit is harnessing human energy. Our students are taking on the role of student energy scientists, where they are enlisted to help a rescue team to come up with portable energy devices so that they could charge up rescue devices, GPS, flashlights, things like that during rescue missions, especially when the power is out. It's really exciting times. Our students are able to do a lot of hands-on activities, and we're also getting real life field information, and we're reading various articles on how we can harness certain types of energy. Right now, we're doing the potential and kinetic energy, activating some prior knowledge before we get into the more profound stuff. After harnessing human energy, we'll go to force and motion, then we'll do an engineering internship, and then we'll go to light waves, natural selection, and magnetic fields. I think there are 7 altogether, 9 once you get the engineering internships. It's pretty awesome. Our grading is 35% projects. That's most of our labs and our hands-on activities. The tests are 25%. Quizzes are 20%. Classwork is 15 and homework is 5. You can reach me. I don't see my contact information up here and I apologize for that. The best way you can reach me is on Class Dojo or my acapers.ccsp.org is my email address. I will respond as quickly as I can. Thank you very much.
Is Mr. Fields on? Let's see. He is
He
not.
had just jumped on the 7th grade one when I came over here, so I'm not sure.
No worries, I'll try to introduce him. I'll try to do him some justice. So Mr. Fields has been at the community charter school for 5 years. He is spearheading the new course we have at the community charter school of Patterson. Actually 2 courses. He is our Latinx and Black history instructor. This is a program that the scholars have been asking for numerous years, and we're happy to be kicking off with Mr. Fields. He has run with this program since May. He's been actively preparing for it, going to professional development. He is one of our, trying to get his title correct. He's one of the Patterson liaison for the Black Lives Matter organization in Patterson. And he's just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the Black history course and that next course. And you can just see it in his classes. The kids are thoroughly engaged. So I hope you talk to your kids about these classes. I've had the pleasure of popping in 3 times in the past 2 weeks. And it's just a great class. So I would love for him to be here and tell a little bit more about it from his perspective as the educator. But unfortunately, yeah, he does teach 2 grade levels, 7th and 8th, so he has to go back and forth those nights. But you can reach out to him at his email address. Our emails are always our first initial last name. So his is mfields@ccsp.org. And his phone number, this is the phone number to his classroom, 973-413-2057, and his extension is 8407, and on Class Dojo. His policy is pretty standard with the ELA department. There is some variation though. His tests are 35%, homework 10, projects 20, classwork 25, and quiz are 10%. So if you do have any questions about this class, please make sure you reach out to Mr. Fields. Some of the kids have Black history and some of the kids have Latinx, just so you're aware. And Mr. Hilfman, you are here, correct? Yes, he is. Help him out. Mr. Hilfman, are you there? You're unmuted, Mr. Hilfman. He said he was having technical difficulties with his sound before, so no, he's here though, so maybe, let's see. We'll give him about 30 seconds, if not. All right, so Mr. Hilfman, he's here, but he's having some audio difficulties as he texted me earlier tonight, but he is on here. So this is his slides that he presented, so I'm going to try to do him justice. This is Mr. Hilfman's 17th year in education and the 3rd year with the Community Charter School of Patterson. Mr. Hilfman is an ELA instructor, and he also has special ed certification. So you will see Mr. Hilfman in dual roles until Mrs. Duncan returns. Mrs. Duncan is out for the time being, but the 2 of them are partners in this class. But he is there for this marking period and overseeing this class by himself. His contact information is lhilfman@ccsp.org. All of our websites, all of the teachers' websites can be found on www.ccsp.org. There's a tab on top for 8 Morris, and it has all of our pertinent information, websites, school letters, calendars, all that stuff is there. These videos from tonight, for if you have multiple kids, you'll have the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade back to school night videos posted as well on that website by tomorrow. But I know Mr. Hilfman would have loved to have spoken, but unfortunately he's unable to. Oh, look at that. I heard him laugh. Wait.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Mr. Bisacco.
Beautiful.
It's all about communication. Unfortunately, the video communication's not working. But I had the pleasure of working with some of your scholars during the summer, and I know some from before as also. It's all about working together. It's about community. It's the parents, the students, the administration, and the faculty getting together, and that's what I'm all about. Yes, I've asked about their reading and writing ability, and they are panicked about whether it's their reading or their writing, and some of them think that what they've read before is boring. I can understand from a different perspective how that works, but having worked and being able to work with this great 8th grade team and knowing full well that language arts is very important to all of it. Social studies, science, math, STEM, PE, and health, and it'll work real well together. I'm here, and your kids are understanding right now, and they're getting to the point where they understand that we're looking for clear and concise communication. I've heard and I've seen some of their writing so far. It's pretty good. I have to be honest with you. And the idea that they're concerned about their writing, as long as they keep putting down what they're putting down on paper and understanding that there needs to be a few edits here, revisions there, they'll be fine. They all have a lot of great personality, and we'll put it together. I'm also about presentation, whether it's actually presenting it like a speech or a debate. I hope to do some debates this year with them. And I think real well that they've already started debating in their own way. Let's put it that way. We're just going to make it more concise for them. And they'll see that they can speak and write and research and get their point across the right way and correct way. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, this is a great team, and working with the parents, I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be doing. It'll be nonfiction, it'll be historical fiction, and we'll be doing a lot of good reading and a lot of great writing. So I look forward to speaking with your parents, and let's make it a great year.
I don't think Mr. Ravelli is here as well because he teaches all 4 grade levels. He is our ESL teacher, as he put over here. What is ESL? ESL is English as a second language, or otherwise refers to as L, English language learners. And this is his 7th year at the Community Charter School of Patterson. And he is super excited to work with our middle school scholars this year. He has a lot of our scholars compared to just the elementary. And you can reach out to him at fravelli@ccsp.org, or his number he provided, which is 201-448-7440. So Mr. Ravelli is actually in all of our ELA classes this year, grade 5, 6, 7, 8. So your child might not directly have him, but he is a in-class support teacher for all of the ELA teachers. He doesn't just work with the L students, he also makes sure that he works with students in those groups, the areas, and provides additional support. So he's an asset to our scholars with his knowledge in the classroom, as well as our teachers. So we're very fortunate to have such a great educator on our team. And I wish Mr. Ravelli was here to talk a little bit more. But he is in all your English classes. So your scholars might come home and talk about, hey, there's Mr. Ravelli was in my class today. He was helping us out on this activity, because he's very hands-on and loves to work with all of our scholars. Ms. Davis is not here today. Unfortunately, she's out sick, but hopefully she'll be back tomorrow. She used to be our art teacher, our art and mass media teacher, but she has transitioned into a new role. She is our instructional tech coordinator, and you can feel her absence today because we couldn't get on with the Zoom link. But no, we're very happy to have her on our team as our technology coordinator for the teachers. She assists with student Chromebooks. So if you ever have an issue with the Chromebook, you can reach out directly to her. It's meldavis@ccsp.org. You can also Your scholars can go and find her. They know where her office is. Her office is located on the first floor. And anytime they have an issue, she's there to help them. She oversees the Class Dojo page and our Power School page. So all of you will be receiving your Power School access this Friday because her and Miss Davis and Mrs. Davis are working on your Power School access letters that will be sent home with your child on Friday. So please check their backpacks or folders when they come home Friday for your access. If for some reason you do not have access to Class Dojo, please make sure you reach out to her as well via email since you don't have Class Dojo, because all parents and guardians are required to have Class Dojo, is that is our main contact, our main way of contacting you. All right. And if you're having issues, with Google Suites, you can reach out to her as well. And she does provide a lot of training to our teachers about how to use Google Classroom and the interactive smartboard so we can ramp up our already great educational program we have at CCSP. Oops, and I jumped around. Is Mrs. Asoldi on this one? I don't think she is. Nope. Mrs. Asoldi is actually running the 6th grade event, so I know she's not here. Mrs. Asoldi is our math interventionist. She's been with the organization for, I believe, 6 years. It pushes into all of our math classrooms, and she just provides extra support to the math teachers and, more importantly, to our scholars to help them improve their math skills. Sometimes, if needed, she'll pull them out of class in small groups to work with them on a mini lesson or a quick activity, then bring them back, just to provide that extra help to all the scholars. And she's also math tutoring. She's part of our math tutoring program. I'm glad you reminded me. Our math tutoring program begins on November 8th to Monday on November 8th. So if you're interested in tutoring for math or ELA, your scholar must be a member of ELT. So please make sure you sign them up for ELT and request that they have tutoring for mathematics or ELA. And next up, we have the child study team, and I know Ms. Sanchez and Mrs. Volpe are here tonight, so I will let them speak.
Hello, I'm Ms. Sanchez. I'm the social worker for the child study team, and I'm in charge of case managing section 504s for the K through 8th grade, and as well conducting child history assessment for IEPs.
Mrs. Volpe? All right, well, Mrs. Volpe is also here, and I guess there might be some audio issues as well. Mrs. Volpe is the supervisor of the child study team. So if you ever have any questions, if your child has an IEP or you just have questions that you want to reach out to, please reach out to these two wonderful women on here. Mrs. Volpe is the supervisor, Ms. Sanchez, who just introduced herself. And we also have 3 other wonderful women in this program, Mrs. Weinstein, the speech services and the case manager for the elementary school, Ms. Virgo, who's our psychological testing for the child study team, and our case manager for the middle school and learning consultant for staff and students, Mrs. Morocco. They are actually located at the middle school. So if you ever need to make an appointment with them, they are located at our building, 8 Moore Street on the 4th floor, but please make sure you schedule an appointment with one of these ladies. That way they can meet with you and help you out as best as possible. All right. So actually, Baldo, you are on here. So thank you for coming. I know you're jumping all over the place. Would you mind talking, just quickly introducing yourself? Well, it doesn't have to be quickly. You can talk. I'm doing it.
Got it. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mr. Umbaldo. I'll be co-teaching with Ms. Rawlings, and I'm sure Ms. Rawlings spoke about her class. And we'll be planning together, teaching together, and assessing students together. And most of you parents I've met many times before, and students, I just want to remind everyone, you're not always going to be in 8th grade. Time goes by really quickly. So please focus on what you have to do because high school is coming. And parents, it's real important that we stay focused and not miss any more skills that we may have missed during COVID. So we, as the special ed teacher with co-teaching with Ms. Rawlings, if your student has an IEP, they need to go to a special education meeting. I'll be attending that meeting along with one of the parents and the child study team. If there's questions regarding students' goals and objectives that they may be working on in their IEP, you can email me or contact me through Class Dojo. That's really the best way. And I could put you in touch with the right person on the child study team, or pass your message along and get information back to you if I don't know the answer. Working with Ms. Rawlings would bring different perspectives to teaching math. And Ms. Rawlings, I think the kids are going to really like the way she has her class running and moving. It's going to be very interactive, and it's going to give students who need extra support the opportunities to really dive into math this year. And I look forward to supporting them and getting everyone into the high school they want to be into. Thank you, Mr. Busacco.
No, thank you for coming, and I know you're bouncing all over the place tonight, so great,
Yes.
appreciate it. So this time, I'm going to stay behind so parents can ask me questions about school, COVID safety, whatever questions you have in mind. Teachers, if you want to stay on for questions that might pertain to the overall building, you're more than welcome. But as a reminder, we're not going to ask individual teacher questions tonight. You can reach out to them on Class Dojo, or you can set up a one-on-one, because I'm pretty sure some of you have your own individual questions for each teacher. And it'd be best if you ask that. But I'm going to unmute. Everyone has the raise function on theirs, the reactions. If you go to the bottom, there's something that says reactions. It's like a little smiley face with a plus on it. So if you could put the raise hand or the thumbs up, if you click that button, I can unmute you and then you can ask questions. And I already see Ms. Shepherd. She's a pro at this. She comes to all of our meetings. I'm very happy to see her tonight. So let me unmute her so she can speak. Ms. Shepherd, did it unmute you? No, not yet.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Ms. Shepherd. How are you tonight?
I'm fabulous. I'm praying everyone is well and healthy and doing good. I just have a quick question for the dues. I wanted to pay the dues. Well, if the student is absent, can we still pay the $40, or we wait until they're available to measure and then they bring the $40?
My suggestion is when if a child's out or just not feeling well tomorrow, they can bring the $40 in when they return, because that money Ms. Rawlings has to give to the company. Their name is Zollner, the Zollner company. So she just gives that money to them. That way they can process the cap and gowns. That's the deposit they request. So you can bring that money in next week, and then Ms. Rawlings or Mrs. Asoldi or myself will measure the children that missed their dates. We have a ring measurer that they provided us with, and we have some extra cap and gowns so we can get the right size, and we'll just give it to the company. So you don't have to worry about bringing in the money tomorrow if she's not going to be in. And you can just keep bringing the money next week, and we'll just send it over to them when they come back.
Okay. And as for the other dues, can we use like Cash App or Zelle or anything like that?
Yes, so your phone's breaking up, Ms. Shepherd, but I heard you say something about, can we
To
pay?
make payments for the dues, can we use Cash App or Zelle or
Yes.
Venmo or any one of those?
Yeah, so Ms. Shepherd, your phone is breaking in and out, but I did hear your question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear your question
Hello?
now. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Ms. Shepherd? All right, well, I'm going to answer a question.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure most of you want to know. We are taking Cash App this year. Ms. Rawlings, if you could remind me what our Cash App is, or put it in the chat. If you do use Cash App, we ask that you please put your child's full name, because sometimes they have different last names or they spell them differently. So if you could just please put that in with the Cash App payment, because we want to make sure it goes to the right person. You will receive there you go. So very simple. It's $8 Morris dues. It's in the chat. If you want to pay it that way rather than send money with your scholar, you will receive confirmation, obviously from the company that you sent the money, but you'll receive confirmation that we received it, we've collected it, we processed it towards your child's account from either myself, Mrs. Rawlings, or Mrs. Asoldi. We'll be the only three people in the building, but mainly Ms. Rawlings and Mrs. Asoldi that'll be reaching out to you. If for some reason, you have questions about your dues or you want to make sure it went through, please reach out to one of those ladies or myself. We've been doing this for now, 4 years, Ms. Rawlings at CCSP collecting monies. So we're getting good at this now. But we heard a lot of complaints about, you guys need a Cash App or something. So we were able to get a Cash App this year, 8 more dues. All right. Next question is Sharon. I'm unmuting you now. Abubasa, Delilah's mother. Miss Abubasa, can you hear me? Can you speak or no?
Yes, I can.
How are you
Can you
today?
hear me?
I can
I'm
hear
doing
you.
fine. I'm asking a question about the bus being suspended.
Yes.
And does that mean that my child needs to stay home in quarantine?
Does that mean my child what? I couldn't hear you.
Needs to stay home in quarantine for 10 days.
Does she need to quarantine for 10 days? If you received a phone call from either Nurse Cologne or Nurse Asha, then she needs to. If you did not receive that, then she does not have to quarantine. The reason that is, just so I'm actually receiving cash apps right now. So the reason that is, the CDC has guidance and we do not have any say in the Patterson Department of Transportation. That is actually overseen and run by the Patterson Board of Education. So they made a decision because there was a student who had a positive case of COVID confirmed. They decided, and apparently they have the right to suspend transportation, but they did contact tracing based on their assignments on the seat. And they had our nurses reach out to certain students on the bus, and not every student had to quarantine, only the ones that the nurses reached out to. My suggestion as a parent and as the principal of the school is that anytime your child is slightly exposed, it doesn't hurt to get them checked. I'd rather be safe than sorry, so it doesn't hurt to get them checked. But I do ask that if you ever suspect that your child needs to get tested, that you wait for their test results to come back before you bring them to school. So if you decide to test your child tonight or tomorrow, do not send your child back to school until the test results come back positive. No, we don't want positive. Sorry. So the test results come back negative. And then all you have to do is reach out to myself or Miss Mel Davis or Miss Tamika Davis, our administrative secretary, says that my child is self-quarantining until the results come back. And that way we can provide you with a computer if you don't have one, so your child can log on to Google Classroom. So the children are able to do that. There is no remote instruction like last year where you'll see Ms. Thurman or Mr. Capers teaching an online course, but they do post assignments. So if kids do have to quarantine because you suspect that they need to get a COVID test, or we put them out because unfortunately they do have COVID or they were around someone at COVID, they can still keep up with their work. And if you notice that work is not being posted, just reach out to your child's teacher. If they don't get back to you within a timely manner, reach out to me. We will get on it. We do value our parents and we understand that this is a frustrating time and we're doing the best we can because we're trying to navigate 2 worlds, in person, and then we're trying to do our online platforms. So to answer your question very shortly, but you actually led me to the topic. If you do believe your daughter needs to quarantine until her results come back in, you can do so. If you were not told to quarantine, you do not have to quarantine. That means your child, according to the CDC and the Patterson Department of Health and CCSP's health department, they were not in close contact, 6 feet or more, 15 minutes without a mask.
Okay.
I know that was long. Can I answer your question?
But you did answer my question. So I'm gonna go and get her tested tomorrow. So she's gonna be out to her results come back.
Your phone's breaking up. It's very hard to hear you. I don't know if it's just me, ma'am.
I said that I'm going to get her tested tomorrow. and
Okay.
she'll be out Until she get her results back.
Absolutely. So just do me a favor. Please write an email to or dojo message to Miss Davis, Tamika Davis, so that we can make sure that everything is provided to her.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're absolutely welcome. Next question. I had just unmuted the iPhone 3, Liz. I don't know who that is. It's iPhone 3, Liz. So you can unmute.
You hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
I don't know why it comes on the, well, I guess that's my iPhone. That makes sense. Long day. I'm Lizette ZB. I'm Ariana Torres's grandmother. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Okay, so I just had a question. Are they getting a receipt for the cash that they're taking to school?
Absolutely. We want to make sure that you get a receipt. Mrs. Asoli, she's on here now, and Miss Rawlings.
Okay,
One of those lovely ladies will be providing them a receipt. Anytime we take cash, we give a receipt.
okay, and on the class dojo, I know you had a time span of like when the fees were due. That's still on class dojo, right? I just have to revisit that because I want to make sure that she's up to date with her payments.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll send home a letter too. We posted on Dojo, Miss Rawlings and I will send home a letter. That way you can put on your fridge. or wherever
Okay.
you keep it. But I know tomorrow we're asking, well, we're not asking, Zollner's asking for a $40 deposit before they start like moving along.
Yes, that she already has. Only because her mom is at work today and my son is her father, her stepdad, and they're not available. So I'm the one that's on the platform for the kids. So
We
so
appreciate
you know how the grandparents are.
I do.
Okay, I think that's it. If anything else, I will be in. Her teachers are wonderful. I've been emailing them and contacting them. So I thank you and have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, Sharon, I'm gonna unmute you. Sharon M.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well and blessed.
Good evening.
I have a few questions. First and foremost, in reference to the dues, can they pay more than what the actual payment is indicating and on the dates that is indicating?
Absolutely. They can pay as much as we're just asking for a deposit. They want to pay the whole thing, half of it, a quarter of it. They can pay whatever amount they want. Once they hit their dues, they'll get another letter saying your dues are completely paid for the year. Hello? Hello?
Okay, it kind of froze, yeah.
Oh, no problem.
Now, another question in reference to kids that have possibly been exposed to COVID.
Yes. Your phone keeps going in and out, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Towards the attendance, they have no control of who they come in contact with.
We didn't actually hear anything you said. You went muted for a second. Can you repeat the question?
When a child is possibly exposed.
Yep.
For the days that they're under quarantine and waiting for their test results. And let's just say it's periodic throughout the whole year that they're in school. Does that affect their attendance? Because I know that high schools look at attendance and it reflects, with their schoolwork and so on and so forth. When it comes to COVID, possibly exposure in the school.
Absolutely. Great question. So the child does not get marked absent. Initially, you'll see that when you have Power School access, you might see a day or two they get marked absent, but Ms. Davis, our administrative secretary, has a list of confidential list because she's the confidential secretary. And she changes them to Q. So you'll see a quarantine next to your child's name. That Q is not shared with any high school or anyone else other than the people that need to see it. So they will not be marked absent, though it will look like they were present the whole time if they're quarantined. So the other schools will not know how many days they were quarantined. They won't know that they missed any days. So let's just say that, me, for example, I was out 2 days because for personal reasons as a student, but I missed, unfortunately, like 15 days for being quarantined. It would show on my report card I missed 2 days and not the 17 days. So they're not being penalized. We also give them chances to get their work done at home. We understand that some children might not be able to get their work done at home because they might be sick. And we understand that. So we are fully aware of what's going on. And so if they need more time, all you have to do is reach out or have your child reach out to the teachers. We're very flexible. We're compassionate to the situation. We're going to make it work for everybody because we don't want children to fall behind. We do realize that them being quarantined, it is not the same. No one's going to tell you otherwise. It's not the same, but we are providing work for them to do on their own. But we also have times where they can reach out to their teachers and we can provide that support to them. So I hope that answers your
Okay.
question.
It really does, because I know in the work fields, it may be a little bit different than what it is to the students' educational field. It may be different as well. Okay, then that's good to know.
All right, and if you ever do notice that your child's marked absent and they are quarantining, all you gotta do is shoot Miss Davis an email and she'll fix it right away. So you don't have to freak out if you see any parents, like, we're gonna make a mistake here and there by marking them absent. She might have missed a name, but she has a list.
Okay.
Miss Davis is very good at fixing things, you know, if it's an issue.
Yeah.
Just reach out to her and she'll fix it right away, so you don't have to stress it.
Okay.
All right, thank you, I appreciate your questions.
No, no problem.
And our last question is Mr. Anthony, so I'm gonna unmute you.
Hello.
Oh, Miss Anthony, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. I
Hi,
apologize.
how are you? I have a question about the COVID.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the kids are getting sent home to quarantine for COVID. From my understanding, it's more than one case,
Correct.
more than one grade.
Correct.
These kids are gonna quarantine, get tested, come back to school, and then probably have to be sent home again because the kids that was not sent home got exposed too, and they got exposed at a later date. I want to know, are y'all going to come with a better system with quarantining these kids when there's more than one case and more than one grade? Because these kids are all cross-contaminated all day. They're traveling, they're doing recess together. So these kids are, basically all the kids are being in contact with all the kids.
Yeah, so I'm
With each
gonna,
other.
yeah, I really do appreciate your honesty, and it's a great question. And I'm just gonna give you, because myself and Mrs. Ramirez is not here, she's our vice principal, so she came over too. What we are doing is following with Governor Murphy, the CDC, and the Department of New Jersey's Health Department is saying. They are requiring contact tracing, so not only do we do the contact tracing, but the Patterson Health Department also does the contact tracing, and they determine what is a close contact. They have their rules and definitions, and those are the kids that they are putting out. They have a lot of rules that I'm learning more and more, because in all honesty, I agree that we should be putting out more kids, but that is not a decision of anyone on this call, unfortunately. The Department of Health makes those calls for us on who gets quarantined and who doesn't, based on the cameras, student statements, contact tracing. So there's a whole process to it, and they make those decisions. We have asked questions similar to yours, and overall the response is that we are following the CDC guidelines and the Patterson Health Department, as well as New Jersey Health Department. We do hear you, and that's why we went a step further, and we want to make sure that parents are aware, even if you weren't contacted to saying that your child needs to quarantine. We do want to make parents aware that there was a positive case in the building, and there's always a possibility. So I know it's not the answer you're looking for, but that's what I was told as the principal. These are the kids you're quarantining. These are the kids that are staying. This is the policy. And I know it's not a good answer. I'm a parent to a 6-year-old as well, and he goes to school, and I've received a similar letter and I have similar questions. But unfortunately, we are bound to the guidelines of the Department of Health and the CDC and the mandates set by the Department of Education.
I understand that the CBC and stuff like that, because my daughter is one of the kids that had to quarantine because suppose she was in contact with somebody that was in contact with somebody else. But my thing is, the kids that she was in contact with, all of them are not home. Some of them are in school.
So there is a reason for that, and I can talk about it, but we can't mention any names.
No, I'm not mentioning no names.
No, I know that. I'm just putting it out there. Some of the kids are vaccinated. If they're vaccinated, they don't get quarantined.
Okay, that was my next question, because when she comes back in the next following week, she's gonna get vaccinated. So if she's vaccinated,
it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks after her vaccination is when she would not have to quarantine if she was in close contact and was wearing her mask.
Okay, and if I feel like I need to test her anyway, because even though you're vaccinated, doesn't mean you can't get it.
Absolutely.
So if I need to test her anyway, if it came to my attention that she was close contact with someone, does she still have to quarantine until her test results come back?
Yes.
Even though she's vaccinated?
Yep, and that also goes for teaching staff. As you probably heard from your kids, we're short staffed because some of our teachers they're vaccinated, they've been in close contact and they're taking days to get tested.
Okay.
So it's a thing, unfortunately. It's the world we're living in, and we're trying to navigate and figure it out. So if you do get your child vaccinated, you make that choice. You can wait for the PCR, you can do the rapid test, whatever you choose to do. But once you get those results negative, you can send your child back in. Because as you said, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you're not carrying the disease or you have the disease. So we just ask everyone's safety. And we do realize that kids are going to be missing days. And we're not marking them absent if we know they're quarantining and they're getting their tests. We're putting them down as queue for quarantine, and we're providing them with time to get their work done. So this is a very flexible academic year. We're just trying to get back into the building and make it work during COVID. It's hard, not gonna lie. It's very hard, and we're doing the best we can. And we appreciate parents like you and everyone else on this call that understand that, you know, COVID's real. And we got to do things to make sure that our kids are safe. So I appreciate.
Okay, I have another question too.
Absolutely.
One last question. If she get vaccinated and does she have like a side effects, like, you know, because I got vaccinated and I got sick. So
Mhm.
if she had to stay out of school 2 or 3 days because she had a side effect to the shot, does that count as an absent
Nope.
or
It's-
excused absent?
Nope, it's excused absent because of the medical reason.
All right, so I just have to contact the school, let the school know that she had a side effect.
Yep, I asked that you contact Mrs. Davis, the administrative secretary, because she can receive those confidential things. You're allowed to share those things with her, but it stays with her. And then she just lets
Okay.
myself and the nurse know. So if you can, anytime any parent here has a quarantine question, the two best people to reach out to is Nurse Asha and Mrs. Davis, who will reach out to Nurse Asha. But those two women are the ones that I asked you to provide your questions to and everything else. I meet with both of them every single day. So if you message them, I know about it because we talk and try to plan to make sure that everyone is receiving the best education possible while quarantining, not marking as absent. So we do meet every day. So please message those two.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you everyone for your time. That was the last hands up. We appreciate you guys. If you do have any questions to your teacher, reach out to them one by one on Class Dojo. And the questions tonight were fantastic, and I appreciate all the teachers for coming out tonight. And everyone have a wonderful evening. I unmuted everyone so we can say good night. So good night to
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, goodbye.
Good night, good night.
Oh, and the community service is mandatory. We'll explain more later at the 8th grade night in October.
Okay, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.